Hey there, welcome to the Agents of Revival podcast. If you're ready to be healed and take full accountability of your life by evolving into your best self, then this is the podcast for you. I am your host, Andrea Griffin Rogers, and I'll share with you winning steps as well as personal tips and anecdotes on how to go from brokenness to wholeness and from scattered pieces to inner peace. So come on in and join me on this healing journey, and let's become whole together. Enjoy it! Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Agents of Revival podcast. How are you today? Man, let's just get into it. If you missed our last episode, then I encourage you to take a listen, because I'm just going to jump right in from where we ended there. It's kind of like part 2 of what we talked about, of releasing the old wineskins. But we're going to talk today about a season of separation, because you have to understand that in order to become your best self requires a season of separation. It requires you to take a step back from the people in your life, the things that you have been doing, in order to evaluate, is this still serving purpose? Is this still serving value? Am I growing and developing by being connected to this person? Is this making me my best self by continuing to do the things that I've been doing? Before we go any further, let me say a quick prayer and then we'll get further into this. Spirit of living God, we come to you right now and we just want to say thank you for allowing my brothers and my sisters to hear and receive a word from you, God. Speak, Lord, your servants are listening. You know where each person is right now in their life, and you know the challenges that they face. You also know what changes they need to make in their lives. So, Father God, I pray that you help them to make decisions that will benefit them and ultimately draw them closer to you and closer to their goal marks. This is my prayer, God. Let it fall on good ground, produce good fruit in each person's lives that hear this message. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right, so a season of separation. I remember when I first, I won't go that far back. I'll go back to 2020, because I talked about this before. So when COVID hit the entire world, at that time, I was watching the news and on social media, looking at all the different, death counts and tolls and whatnot, and what other countries and places were doing to try to get through the pandemic and the isolation period. And so I remember when I was going through that, because I had already been going through a Job wilderness season, that I like to call it, where I had dealt with sickness and I had to be, I don't want to say quarantine. I want to say like isolated as a result of just healing. When the quarantine came, that was fine for me because I was already doing it. So it was no biggie for me. I wasn't like other people who kind of felt it to be detrimental to their everyday life, or just were stressed out about it. It was fine for me. And so I remember being on social media and watching the news and just seeing so many depressing facts. And I had a thought from my God that said, it's time to get off of that. And so I remember making a conscious decision to get off of social media and turn the TV off. And at that time, I couldn't tell how many hours I would spend on social media, on different pages, and just scrolling. And so at first it was kind of hard to like get off of social media. But then as time went by, it got better and better and better. And I found by me turning off all the media platforms, so that means TV media and social media, doesn't mean I wasn't watching anything. I wasn't watching the news. So when I turned off news media and then stopped being on social media, I realized I was not living in stress or fear anymore. I didn't have anxiety anymore. I realized that these things were adding to my anxiety levels. I wasn't feeling depressed anymore because these things were adding to that. Doesn't mean that it started with these things. No, but they were adding to it. They were adding fuel to the fire, basically. And so I realized I had to go through a season of separation. And in that separation was my blessing. It was amazing because I went 2 years being off of social media. And I know some of y'all like, what? I cannot even fathom taking 2 years away from social media. Maybe I can give you 2 weeks, maybe 2 days, but not 2 years. But yes, I went 2 years not being on social media. I didn't get back on social media until 2022. And of course, by the time when I got on, I was like, whoa, so much has changed. And when I first got back on social media, I only started with Instagram. And so much had changed with Instagram. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe so much changed in 2 years. I just recently, you guys can laugh, it's okay. I just recently got back on what I thought was Twitter. It ain't Twitter no more. It's something completely different. And I was like, what? Okay, I didn't know that changed. Just like I used to hear people talk about a TikTok, and it wasn't until one of my little cousins sat me down. It was like, oh, you should be on TikTok. And I was like, what is a TikTok? Like, I didn't know what the heck that was. So it was like, wow, so much has changed in the time slot that I took to go through the season separation. But what habits I put in, rather, have been good habits for me. Because now I can take time being off social media every week. I can still sustain that. I don't have to take another 2 years off, but I can take time every week, heck, sometimes daily, and not go on social media at all and be just fine. Because I have a healthier quality of life. I created through that process of a season separation healthier habits. So that even when for example, if I do decide to go on social media, let's say I decide to put my Instagram today. And if I go on there and I start seeing something, now I've gotten wiser. Let me say this real quick, disclaimer. Before, I used to follow so many people's pages and channels and whatnot back in 2020. Now, oh no, when I got back on there in 2022, one of the first things I did was I deleted a lot of people's pages that I was following, because I recognized as soon as I got on, I felt the anxiety come back up because I saw all their posts and I was scrolling, and I recognized this is part of the problem that makes it unhealthy for me. But again, I only got to that point by going through the season separation, because when you go through a season separation is when you're able to see the problems. When you're up close and personal to a problem, you can't see the problem, or you can see the problem, but you can't identify the solution. And so you stay stuck in a problem. It's only when you remove yourself from a problem that you're actually able to see a clearer solution. You know, you ever, for example, been trying to clean your house or something, or just tend to a project around the house. And you're like, man, every time I'm trying to get this done, I can't get it done. Every time I'm trying to work on this project, I can't, find the focus to work on it. Every time. Now, this is different than procrastination. This is like, I'm a writer, so I'm speaking from terms of, have you ever heard something called writer's block? What I've learned from writing is the best time to write is not forcing yourself to write. The best time to write is when you're doing other things. Because when you're doing other things, when you pull away from a minute from the computer or whatever you're using to write on, the creativity just flows naturally. The words just come naturally. But it's something about sometimes the pressure of when you're sitting right there looking at a blank screen that all of a sudden your mind becomes blank. And so the same thing goes with, if you're doing something around the house, or you're looking for something around the house even. You can be looking for something in the house and you cannot find it. And you like, now I know I put that thing somewhere. Where I put that at? And you searching and you searching and you can't find it. But it's not until you walk away and you go do something else and you like, I know exactly where it's at, and you go immediately right to it. You ever had that happen to you? I know I have. And that's only because you stopped stressing about it. You took a moment to separate yourself from the problem, to then go clear your mind due to something else where the solution then comes. And then you realize, oh, wait, I do have the answer to that problem. I do know how to fix it. I do know where to go for that. And so when I went back on social media, immediately when I started to feel that tense pressure in me, because I recognized a change in my body as soon as I got on there, I said, okay, hold on. What's the problem here? Because I was not feeling this before I got on here. And so I said, okay, I know what it is. I need to unfollow these pages. And so I went down my list and I unfollowed tons of people. And it's one of the reasons why, like, I know this on social media, and this is why I used to do it, this follow for follow thing. And I used to have that on there. And if you're one of my followers, while I appreciate you for supporting this vision of Agents of Revival, I may not follow you. And for various reasons. You know, not that you're a bad person. The people I unfollowed, it wasn't that they were bad people. It just was that their feed was not serving me any purpose or value. It wasn't bringing life into me. It wasn't making me feel balanced. It wasn't making me feel healthy. It wasn't making me feel good. And it wasn't that people were posting nasty things. Like, for example, it could be somebody posting a picture of them getting married, as I recently saw somebody do. And while I could be genuinely happy for them, but I had to evaluate at that time where I was. And when I got back on social media, because especially at that time, I was feeling the pressure. You know, there's a particular point in time of every woman's life when you get to a certain age where they say your biological clock starts ticking. So I was feeling the pressure of time, and I realized, oh, you know what? While I'm very happy for this person, this is making me feel more anxious. So let me unfollow you. I can maybe like your post, but I'm going to unfollow you. Because again, I don't want you what you have. I'm not jealous of you. I'm genuinely happy for your marriage. But now it's making me feel the anxious pressure that I have to perform, that I have to get to this place, that I have to hurry up and get married, that I. And it's like, you know what? I gotta unplug. And so I did just that. I unfollowed. And so you may have to do that in your life. You may have to unfollow some people because their feed is not serving you purpose. It's making you more anxious. It's making you feel like you have to compare your life to theirs. It's making you feel stressed out. And that's okay. That could be friendships. Like I was saying before, a friendship may have served its purpose and no further. And you realize that y'all are going two different directions. Maybe what you want to achieve, they don't want to achieve. Maybe how you want to get better, they don't want to get better. I've had that happen to me. I've also had seasons change where I was up and they were down, and I'm down and they're up. And that's okay. A season of separation is needed for growth in any form. Growth for the person, the other person, and growth for yourself. You have to have time to separate. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. It does. But it doesn't necessarily mean fonder for the person. It could just mean fonder for the things that you really need in your life. Because a lot of times we may not realize how much we're using people or things to fill a void that we ultimately need to address to fill ourselves. For example, I used to be a person, I talked about this before, where I did not want to be alone. I did not want to be single. And so I would hop from relationship to relationship to relationship. If I wasn't in a relationship, then I was dating somebody. But it still was somebody in my life. And then when I went to my job wilderness season and I, get to the point where I stopped dating people, then it became filling it up with my friends. Like they just replaced the people I was dating. But it still was unhealthy. And I was making a demand on them in the same way I would make demands on my relationships. Now I'm just being honest with y'all. Why? Because I was in a broken place at that time. And so I would want my friends to be on the phones with me for hours. I would want my friends to hang out with me for hours. I want my friends to give me that same feeling, if you will, in some capacity, to fill the void that me stop dating had produced. And it became exhausting for them and unhealthy for me. And I had to look at myself and realize this is not serving purpose for anybody. And so I had to say, okay, you know what? I got to start pulling back. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Some people, when I started doing that, were like shocked because they were like, what's wrong? I mean, I'm used to you call me all the time. I'm used to you doing this and that. And it's like, you know what? No, I'm fine. I used to have a blog before I, did the podcast. And I wrote an article on there at one point because I used to talk about this. All the things I'm talking about now, I've been talking about. And I said, it's okay, or I'm okay. I forgot the title, but it was basically talking about how I was better. And I said at one point, you were my friend because you were used to my brokenness. And now that I am no longer in a broken state where I need you, you now feel invalidated. You now feel useless. Like there now is a problem with me getting healthier. And you're going to see that in your life when you choose to go through a season of separation. You're going to see that there are going to be some people that will not like the new you. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to develop. They don't want you to become better. They don't want you to mature. They don't want you to become healthier because your brokenness made them feel more connected to you, and your brokenness made them feel useful in your life. And so when they realize that you are now taking ownership and responsibility for yourself, your heart, your mind, your peace, your balance, your wellness, then they may even feel intimidated by it, or they may feel jealous of it because they can't get it for themselves because they're not willing to do the work themselves. And again, it's okay. It's okay to recognize that we were only connected by our brokenness. But now that I am no longer broken and I've mended my wings, this bird is going to fly somewhere else because birds of a feather flock together. I'm choosing to change my feathers. You want to keep having the same feathers. Okay, well, we got to fly our separate ways. We're not birds, so I use practical examples of spiritual principles for those that are new to this podcast. What I'm saying is you may choose to develop your own character. You may choose to get better within yourself. You may choose to heal from broken past traumatic experiences. But the people that have been around you thus far, including sometimes family, may not want to see you develop. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad or evil because they don't want you to become better. It's that they've become comfortable with you being at the same broken state that they're in. And so now that you are changing and developing and becoming your best self, it leaves a mirror for them and they can't face it. It makes them feel like you're challenging them to a position, which in some instances we are. You may not be saying it, but by you getting better makes them feel the pressure to get better. And sometimes people will buck back against that. They don't want to get better. They don't want to heal. They don't want to do better. They don't want to change. They're afraid to. I have been mentoring and ministering to people for a while now, for years. And I will never forget this one conversation I had with a woman who said to me, everything you're saying to me, Andrea, is absolutely true. I agree with you 100%. I don't want to do the work. I don't feel like it, and I'm too afraid. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, because I hear some of y'all probably saying, wow. I said that too. Jaw drop moment. I try to keep my composure to still keep a smile on my face so that this person couldn't feel the sadness in my heart for them. But I was just like, wow, that is so sad that you want to stay stuck in your same situation. You want to continue to live your life with blurred vision because you don't want to get clear on bettering yourself. You rather walk around crippled than doing the work and the physical training needed to be healed and operating at full capacity. Wow. That's so sad. How many of you out there are living your life that way? I feel like I can sense some of you have tears welling in your eyes. Let them fall. It's okay. It is okay to cry. If nobody ever told you, let me tell you, you have permission to cry. You have permission to feel whatever you're feeling in this moment. Let your heart feel it. Because you've been holding it in for so long. You've been trying to be strong for everybody else for so long. And you have never taken time. You may have even wanted it, desired for people to care about you enough to see how you doing. But it is time for you to start caring about you and seeing how you doing. Because you cannot expect people to value your heart when you're not doing it yourself. You cannot expect people to treat you better when you're not treating yourself better. You cannot expect people to respond and respect your boundaries when you have never set them. So we got to be willing to do the work. We got to be willing to take our power back. And how you take your power back is not by asking somebody permission for it. It's not even by waiting for them to do it for you. It's by force. It's by you choosing today to wake up, look in the mirror, evaluate, look at that deeply, at that little girl or boy inside of you, because it's there. You may have neglected him or her for a long time, but she and he is there. Look at that person in the mirror and say, wake up and take your power back. Stop waiting on people to care about your heart. You care about your heart. You value you. You put you first. You heal. You forgive. Whether they ask for forgiveness or not, don't matter. You got to have peace for you. So just forgive. Do the work. This is your time. And so allow yourself to go through a season of separation. And don't feel like you got to explain yourself to nobody. Because hear ye, hear me. You can give as many explanations as you want to people, and it still won't change a thing. Why? Because we don't have the power to change anybody's heart. Whatever flows to their mind comes from their heart. It's a heart posture. It's how they feel. It has nothing to do with you. And so since you don't have the power to change how they feel about you or what they're going to think about you, then you got to choose to just focus on you and let them talk. Because they're going to talk. Let them talk. I had people, baby, listen, even family talk about me like a dirty dog. Oh, she doing this. Oh, she won't be around nobody. Oh, she this, she that, she other. Oh, she always just, to herself, locked in her room, locked in the house. Just don't want to do nothing. Just don't want to do. I mean, they talk about me. Oh, she going to counseling. Oh my gosh, she going to counseling again. She do counseling twice a week. Oh my gosh. Like, what is wrong with her? They talked, child. They talked. I heard them. But that didn't stop me from working on me. They even talk about this. Y'all wouldn't be here today. Had to listen to what they talked about. I got called a bum. I got called everything but a child of God. I got called lazy, selfish, because I'm trying to focus on building a business and I don't want to do things the way people want me to do them. Baby, hear me, hear ye. Free yourself from people pleasing, because you will never please them. I used to live my life trying to please other people and they still weren't happy. Still weren't. I have spent thousands of dollars trying to buy people's happiness and love, trying to win their friendship, trying to win their relationship, trying to win the family ship. Didn't matter, because when the chips were down, when the money was dry, they ran away and talked about me while running away. Forgot all the years that I gave money, forgot all the years that I paid bills, forgot all the years of what I did do. That didn't matter. I wasn't able to do it no more for them. So, deuces. They talked. What I learned in that process, in that crushing season, because it does hurt, let's be honest. Words have power. I know people in culture say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words don't ever hurt me. But that's a lie. Because the truth says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. That means words have power. And those that love to eat of it, those that love to speak of it will eat its fruit. So words have power. And it hurts. And it hurt. And that's why I said, baby, it's okay. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to feel angry if you feel angry in the moment when you realize that when you stop trying, people stop trying. Because, yeah, I experienced that too. I'm trying to hold on to something that you don't want to hold on to. I'm trying to reach out to you as a friend. You don't want to reach out to me. I'm trying to hang out with you. You don't want to hang out with me. I'm trying to call you. You don't want to answer the phone to talk to me. I'm trying to text you and you keep me on red and don't respond. And it's not just me, friends, because family will do that with you too. And I realized I'm the one doing a lot of trying here and it's not being reciprocated. And so how I freed myself was choosing to stop. And when I stopped is when I started to experience freedom. When I started to live my best life. Because I realized that I was the only common denominator factor that was keeping this friendship, this relationship, this family ship alive. And when I stopped, you didn't care to keep going. You didn't care to call me. You didn't care to text me. You didn't care to hang out with me. You didn't care to remember my birthday or special days to me. You didn't care. And it's not that people are hateful, though we do see people out here that are like that. But it's just that people got their own cares and concerns of their own life. Basically, people prioritize what they want to prioritize. And you may not be a priority to them, though you made them a priority. And that's okay. Don't change your heart for people because of how they treated you. You can continue to love them from a distance. You can pray for them even. But you don't have to pray on them, Prey. You don't have to pray on them. You don't have to be nasty to them. You don't have to be negative to them. You don't have to treat them like they treated you. You don't have to get them back. You don't have to seek vengeance. You don't got to do none of that. You just continue to better yourself and the fruit will speak of it. They'll see it. They'll see how much you've grown. They'll see how much you've changed. They'll see how much better your life. Because a lot of times people think that your life is going to stop based on them. And so sometimes you got to show them my life keeps going without you. I'm doing just fine by myself. I'm getting better by myself. And that goes out there for relationships too. Because a lot of people are only with you because they want to take what you're willing to freely give. When you start freely giving it, they may leave with an attitude and feel like, yeah, you're going to do no better than me. I'm your best whatever. I'm the best man you ever had. I'm the best woman you ever had. Until they realize that you live by yourself, meaning that you were able to survive without them and thrive. Because you're going to thrive. But it takes choosing to go through a season of separation. So we're out of time, y'all. We'll talk about this a little bit some more. I'll probably do a part 3. Because I got some more to say. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Cause his face to shine upon you. May the Lord God be gracious to you. Show you his favor and give you shalom. Give you his peace. Take care. Love you guys. Bye now.